Pretty Gabby. Anyways, I want to say thanks to somebody who's been following me, sending me a couple of copies of their from the Dollar Vigilante. Let me see if I can. Okay. So here it is, Dollar Vigilante. That's the pricing up to 300 per year for some kind of two newsletters. Anyways, I'm not affiliated with this guy, but I thought I'd put together my thoughts on it. I thought about putting out a newsletter myself with all the assessments and all that. Usually, the complaint I'll get is, well, that's all fine and good, but I don't have the time to trade it. So then I start, okay, well, I'll build a solution for that, which I've got. So the thing that I do like about the Dollar Vigilante, the information is quite good actually, despite his so-called checkered past or whatever. But I do think that there's a lot of validity in some of the messaging he's putting out and some of the newsletters he's put out. I've read four. The beginning I didn't like it, but then once you get used to the style, it's an interesting newsletter. I think there's some validity to it. I know that DeFi is a huge thing right now when it comes to crypto, and it's going to continue to be huge. But it's going to, as I said in my previous video about digital dollars and one, whatever, it's going to get more and more controlled. So I think it's going to get less relevant in the long run. But I do think that right now it's that time where we have this new thing called blockchain and people are building all kinds of projects and doing really innovative stuff. But in the long run, will they actually make you money? That's the question. Lots of good information in the Dollar Vigilante's newsletter. I think some of the analysis is quite interesting. Some of it's very basic, though. I think it's the Rect Capital or whatever. Let's face it, they're just using basic historical, technical charts and coming up with summaries about this. Not knocking it, it's fine and good for newbies and beginners to understand how that works. From my experience with the world of crypto, whatever you put and say, well, the Bitcoin's going to do this because history says so, is irrelevant because the market moves for different reasons and it's so random. So again, I'm not knocking it, but just understand that there's a lot of these newsletters out there like this that have a purpose, but they will easily overwhelm you. Like part of the beginning, a lot of great analysis on the latest one on Coinbase and some of the coins and some of the smaller coins and these events that are happening. There's just so much to stay on top of. If you were trading on Binance, you wouldn't know where to start and so on and so forth. This is the problem. The overwhelm is just killer. If they drill it down and just say, this coin for sure, here's why, and leave it at that, I think that'll make life a lot better. I've got people that want to trade DeFi, they don't know where to start, they don't know what coin to go with, but yet if you keep it one or two for the next week, I think that is a good way to attack it and give you reasons why based upon historical or technical or even better potential fundamental reasons why you think the coin will move. The Dollar Vigilante kind of does that, but overall it does overwhelm. A lot of information if you know how to suss it out, but then you go, where do I start? Where do I go? So it's good. I just don't know how to attack it if you're not a automated trader like what I do. So I don't know. The Dollar Vigilante is a great newsletter. Don't get me wrong. It's just conceptually, it's tough. It's like penny stock advisories or stock advisories. And sometimes, a lot of time, they can be wrong. And because it's just kind of like, here's 10 to 20 different projects to choose from, and here's why. And you choose one, and you go, well, chances are it's not going to be the right one. So what I do with my column bots or whatever, it only picks at the right time when to trade at that time. It doesn't care about the reason. It doesn't know the story about the coin. It don't care. All it knows is that it moves, and it moves to a certain point, triggers an entry, and it gets out after a certain point. Right now, it can do very well with both Bitcoin and Ethereum on its own. Doesn't need anything else. That's the Kraken one. The Binance one, it trades in the futures, and it's the futures data that I use that it uses based upon simple concept of something called supply and demand. And again, doesn't care about the history, doesn't care about the background or any of that, or where the thing's going. All it knows is it's hit a certain point. It's a dumb bot based upon a set of rules, and it trades it if it meets those points. And from my point of view, that's the best way to trade. It's very hard to build bots. And a lot of the bots that I've seen with these subscription-based services that are so-called bots, I think are kind of useless because you'll have a really good performing bot for maybe a week, and then people still continue to trade it thinking that that bot's going to deliver cash for you. It won't, because that bot will eventually get abandoned, and then you have a poor performing bot. And by the time that that bot starts to perform, shows performance, it's probably halfway past its point of giving you opportunities. There's different styles to trade, but usually if you're just trend following on one or two specific kind of bots, or sorry, coins, they're going to be okay for a couple of days while the momentum's there in the market for that particular coin. And then you might have to wait 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 years for that coin to come back, if it ever comes back at all. And again, that's the same thing when it comes to these newsletters. You get married to specific coins. Again, I know people that were married to XRP, Ripple, and they waited for some kind of return. Meanwhile, Ethereum and Bitcoin are moving, and they're not interested in those coins, only XRP. So the SEC steps in, threatens a lawsuit, major exchanges delist it, and then a month later, XRP starts to perform. And then XRP starts to show itself as a good coin. So now it's too late, and you've tied up your capital so much in that one coin. And that's what these newsletters do. They kind of brainwash you to get married to a specific coin for a specific story that never performs. But for me, I don't do any of that. Like I said, I just follow with what the top trading is for that 10 minutes, if it's that, an hour, a couple hours, or whatever. And if it's still continuing, this is another problem with these newsletters. They'll hype up. They could actually. I don't think the crypto, this dollar vigilante does not pump coins, but a lot of them can. No different than penny stock and the promoters of those penny stocks. But they can do that, throw you off, and you will lose money. But here with this style of trading that I've got, it only will trade top performance at that point in time, and then it's waiting for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And usually it's going to give you a profit for the end of the day, even on Coinbase, which doesn't have a great selection compared to Binance. But you can still do okay, but it can only be done in an automated way. So I just wanted to give you my thoughts on this newsletter. It is good information. I got one guy who wants to know about the scheduling of when this happens or this gets listed. That newsletter provides it, but don't stop to think that that's your only gateway to profit in crypto. It's still going to give you a lot of headaches and whatnot, because you may not get the performance that you would hope for, as opposed to these kind of bots. And as I said, with the subscription-based bots, a lot of those get abandoned over time. Just wanted to give you my thoughts, and we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.